coming with, this all data is present in our data set. So we are not discovering any knowledge at this point of time. This is just a different representation of our data set. But what we find here is these subjects are a little similar to each other because they are coming with a common context here, attack and city. And if these subjects are again coming with a different pair of attack city, like it can be attack house or attack station, if these are again and again coming with different pairs of verb object, that makes these subjects in this cluster more similar to each other. And these are not just synonyms, and this is what we are trying to discover. This is the contextual similarity that we are trying to discover. So as you can see here, this is like the top 10 similar words for Mujahideen, attack and base. For the base, you can see the words house, city. These are nowhere related to the synonym of the word base, but still they come in the similarity. So this is what we discover, contextual synonyms. The algorithm is given here. I don't want to go into the details of the algorithm, but what we basically do is, after we get all the unique set of subject, verb, verb object and object subject pair, we run through these clusters, and for every subject present here, we'll mark the similarity matrix as 1, 1, 1, the count of number of times these co-occur with each other. So this is basically a co-occurrence similarity algorithm, which is based on bigrams, because this is a bigram. Earlier we were using only unigram, so that was not very effective. Even the tensor one which we discussed is a unigram. It's not very I'm not very clear about how it works because it was like a black box. I just started with that, but this one was effective, so we went ahead with this. Now this merger engine, this is one of the core of our algorithm, and this is where I spent most of the time doing this research. So this little figure will show you what's happening here. We have the set of triplets, and we have two criteria which we use in this algorithm, which is syntactic criteria and semantic criteria. And we apply these two criteria while merging. This is a bottom-up agglomerative clustering, you can say, where the starting point is these clusters. We from the set of subject verb object triplets, we discovered this, and we use these clusters of we call these clusters as concepts. So you can say this is level 1 concept, and we use these concepts here. So see, we loop through these concepts, and for each concept present here, we try to find out all the concepts below it which could be merged with this concept. I'll explain the syntactic criteria later, what is the criteria for this to be merged with other concepts, but we try to find the concept which can be merged with this, and we merge all those concepts to this cluster and remove all those concepts. Then we move ahead to the second concept. And similarly, this algorithm continues as long as we find at least one concept that can be merged with the other concept. So I set a flag as 0, which gets set to 1, and as long as this flag is 1, I'll just run through this algorithm. So this looks very simpler to see in 10 lines, but the syntactic criteria and the semantic criteria here is a little complex to be used with the type of concepts we are using here, which is basically a word. And to represent this concept in a form that it can effectively be used in these algorithms, we need to persist them in memory first of all, and so that we can look up very easily if we are trying to find out the concepts which could be matched and combined together. It's very difficult if we use just the words. So the first thing was we had to annotate the subject verb object in the numerical form and represent them as sparse matrices. So each concept is a row here. Each concept is a row here, and these are 3 sparse matrices, which is subject is 1 sparse matrix, So the number of columns present here is the length of unique subjects, and the number of columns present here is unique verbs. And for every concept here, like army force group is the subject present here in the first concept. So I'll mark army force group, and here attack, and here city. So the first row will correspond to first concept, second row will correspond to second concept. So it's very easy if you represent that in this form. It's very easy to apply the syntactic criteria. You can find all the concepts that could be a matching concept to that and just merge it with that. Let me explain you the syntactic criteria and the semantic criteria. So I have one concept which is basically like this, and this is not just one subject or one verb. This is a cluster of subject, cluster of verbs, and cluster of object. So to start with, we had something like this: only one verb and one object in a concept, and a cluster of subject in one concept. But when we go ahead with this algorithm, there are things start coming in this cluster. When we merge them together, things start coming in this cluster. So let's say at some point of time we have this concept where there are multiple things here, and here also, and there is some other concept. So how we merge is, we look at three different conditions, and all the three conditions should satisfy. So we look at the subject first, and then verb, and then object. So three lines here: one is for subject, one is for verb, and one is for object. For subject, what we look is, if these two clusters are same, that means when we are merging these two, when we are taking a union of these two, we are not adding anything to the other cluster. In that case, we don't need to look anything for here. But if there is something extra coming from here to here or here to here, then we should have a common context here, which means there should be an intersecting point here and here. So this is about subject. If there is a difference here, we look at the common context here. There should be an intersecting point in both of them. Okay, let's say this particular condition passes, then we come here, and if there is a difference between these two clusters, we look at the common context here in subject object, and similarly for object. If all the three conditions satisfy, then we move ahead with merging these two concepts. Now the problem here is, okay, we can merge these two concepts based on the syntactic criteria, but with the merging there comes the problem of relevance, because we can say at the starting point these objects are similar to each other and these objects are similar to each other, but what about when you merge them? They might not be very similar to each other contextually, because we are merging them locally, but to maintain their global similarity we need to apply some global measure. For that we had the contextual synonym here. So this is prune C using semantic criteria. So this semantic criteria will prune, we will take the union and prune everything that is not relevant to us. In doing that, we'll maintain the size of the concepts also and the relevance of the concepts also. Size of the concept is not like the smaller size, restricting it to a smaller size is not a problem for us, because we are trying to find out the orthogonal concepts which are totally different from each other. Once we find the orthogonal concepts, we can expand it at any point of time. So our problem is finding those orthogonal concepts. So we prune this using semantic criteria, and we get something like this. So let's say we are merging these two triplets, these two concepts. So you see that these two are same, these two are same. We are adding something from here to here when we are merging, and something from here to here. So this passes these three conditions, all the three conditions, because we are not adding anything from here to here, so we don't care about this. For the same for this, but we are adding something here, so we look for an intersection here, and we have the intersection. So we merge these two. We merge these two and we get this. Similarly, we are adding something for subjects here, and we look for a common context here, and we find it and we merge it. Similarly for verbs, we pass this test. So now you see how we are discovering the knowledge here. To start with, we had this one triplet. Here we had two triplets: Boko Haram fight democracy, for Boko Haram fight infidels. So we had one triplet here, second, third, we got this. Here we have 3 more triplets that comes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get this. Again we have some 2 more triplets, 5 Christian comes. So we had total of 8 triplets to start with, and when we cluster these, we get 3 into 3 into 2. That comes to 18. So you see, we have discovered a knowledge, we have just doubled our knowledge from 8 to 10, 8 to 18. So we have added 10. So this was the improvement. Now, okay, we discovered this knowledge and we found different concepts like this. How many concepts did we find? To start with, we had 9058 story paragraphs and these many non-story paragraphs. Our concentration is mainly on this, but the research has been done both on stories and non-stories. So we get around 5835 story concepts and some 17,000 non-story concepts. So how do we use it now? We build a feature matrix using these story paragraphs and non-story. We don't care about if they're coming from stories or non-stories. We use them as class label here. If they are coming from stories, we use the class label as 1, and if they are coming from non-story, we use the class label as -1. And we match all the concepts. Like, we don't care if it is coming from stories. Even if they are coming from stories, we'll match all the concepts. So the one discovered from non-stories also and the stories also. So here our goal is to find the discriminating set of features which could be used to classify these story and non-story. So you see, there could be an intersecting concepts like which are coming from both stories and non-stories. There could be concepts like that. So we don't care about those concepts and those features, we have to remove them. So we use different set of classifiers like SVM, SLEP, LogisticR and LeeStar. The best that we get is from LogisticR here. You can see this is for story and this is for non-story classification. We use the confusion matrix, precision recall and F measure, and everywhere we use k-fold cross validation to measure all this with 10-fold cross validation. The best accuracy that we got is this, some 85% F measure and 86% F measure for non-stories. So now the problem is overfitting, obviously, because we are using 22,000 features here. We have to reduce it. So what we do is we apply regularization, which is a technique used in logistic regression to find more important features, and the one we basically remove all those features that are costing us too much cost. Cost is basically how much error we are making. So this is the equation of a logistic regression, where this is the hypothesis and this is the class label we already have, and this is the cost function. So you see this lambda here. This lambda is basically the regularization parameter, and when we manipulate with this lambda, the cost function associated with every feature that we have, it applies different weights to different features, and it will remove all those features which are contributing towards more error in the logistic regression. So you see these graphs. This is for story, this is for non-story. You see, we try the x-axis here is the regularization parameter, and these two graphs are, this is the number of features, how we are reducing the number of features here, and this is precision recall. So you see the number of features, there is a sharp drop in number of features, but there is not as much sharp drop as number of features in precision recall and F measure. So we need to make a trade-off somewhere. So we have this matrix here, you can see with 12,000 features we have some 85% F measure, and with just the half of that, 6,000 features, we get 82% F measure. So we live with that, 6,000. Here also for non-stories we get 86% with 12,000 features, and with 6,000 features we get 84%. So we live with these 6,000 features and go ahead. Now the last part of our algorithm is lateral expansion of these concepts. So as I said, we find the orthogonal sets of concepts which can be used to detect stories and non-stories. But as you saw, we applied some pruning using semantic criteria. So we might have lost some knowledge over there. So I don't want to lose that knowledge, and use every concept and expand it laterally. Basically, we expand this, we use every word present here and we just put all the top similar words present, like using our similarity measure, and we used WordNet also to do that, and similarity measure with WordNet, we used these three combinations. We could see an increase in 1% in F measure. You can see 82 to 83, 83, 83 in all the three techniques we got 1% increase. So this may be because of we are losing these words here. This is the addition which we did. So this was all about the algorithm that we did. This is one of the most important related work professor suggested, from which we got the idea. This guy is also doing the same, extracting semantic networks using text-wire relational clustering, but this is totally unsupervised clustering. Where
is that Hoffman?
Yeah.
That's Hoffman.
Yeah. So
no, this is called
Stanley
Cock.
Oh, Domingos, yeah.
You sent.
Yeah.
Okay, Domingos. Yeah. So this guy basically cluster objects and relations separately, and it's totally unsupervised, and the technique he used is almost similar to ours, but it's totally probabilistic and mathematical. So it has automatic cluster stopping, so it finds these clusters automatically and stops somewhere. So we picked that idea of bottom of agglomerative clustering from there. Then these two works, basically this guy uses his work, and what they do, what they have like deduced is the similar set of verbs and similar set of subjects come along with similar set of the other one. So basically similar set of verbs comes with similar set of subjects. That's what they have deduced. So that's exactly what we use in our contextual synonym algorithm, where we use bigrams instead of unigrams. We use bigrams to say, okay, this set of bigram comes with all this set of subjects or objects, and we find the similarity there. The conclusion is we developed a bigram co-occurrence similarity algorithm to find contextual synonym, and a bottom of hierarchical clustering to discover generalized concepts. And these concepts can be used in various classification and clustering algorithms. Improved accuracy of story detection as compared to our own previous work. Scope of improvement is we have already tried the syntactic criteria to play around with syntactic criteria, but the one which we have right now is the best one, and we try to make it more restrictive, which doesn't give us anything, or if we make it more liberal, the concepts start expanding. Drifting, yeah. We get very big concepts which are not very differentiating from each other. So the one that we have is the best one right now. We can make it more parametric and localized when we are trying to merge two concepts. We can make it parameterized based on the similarity algorithm that we have, or we can make it heuristic, some sort of knowledge discovery we can do. Even the similarity algorithm, I had this idea of making it evolutionary, as in we have the set of concepts in the end, some 22,000 concepts that we have. We can use it to relearn the similarity algorithm based on the concept. So we have the cluster of subject, verb and object, and we can again build the feature matrix, similarity matrix, and relearn it, the similarity algorithm, and again use it to build the same system again. The third one is using a better parser that we are working on. Future work is applying co-clustering on these concepts, which will basically say how these concepts are interrelated to each other. So a paragraph can relate to many different concepts. Now how different paragraphs are clustered and how different concepts are used in a cluster of paragraphs, we can deduce those things, and a dynamic visualization for these concepts to better understand how they are related to each other. That's it.
Okay, any questions from the audience? Yes.
I will ask about the feature selection. You used the regularization, and I don't know why you use this and you didn't use like information gain or chi-square.
I think that we have used the SLEP from JPingley, and that's already implemented in that package. So we just play with the parameter, and it uses information gain or some sort of measure inside that. Otherwise, we could have used PCA if we were using some other algorithm. But since we were using a package logistic regression, we just go ahead and use that regularization parameter.
Maybe we can test the chi-square and the other tests.
Yes.
Where
Yes.
do they
Yeah.
eliminate? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
If you run the algorithm at different times, you will obtain different results, or it's gonna be identical results?
It's going to be the same.
Going to be-
Yes, same.
Okay, other
It's a
questions?
deterministic algorithm, you're saying?
Yeah, there's no random initiation of
There's no random.
seeds. I mean, we start from the same set every time and
Yes.
reach the same results.
Are you putting accommodation clusters? So, for example, it doesn't have something in common, or how you, for example, say this? The splitting criteria or defining clusters.
I'm not getting it.
There's no splitting, he's merging.
I'm merging. I'm not
Merging.
splitting.
Merging. But for example, if there is something in common, could you merge to one cluster? Is this right? Or what's the criteria you, for
So,
example, you want to make merge?
To start with, as I said, I had 200,000 triplets. So the first level was getting these set of unique subject, verb, and verb object, and clustering the things present here. But these are localized things, so we go ahead and cluster them and prune the ones that are not important. So how our algorithm goes is, we pick this concept and we find all the concepts from the bottom which could be merged with this. We merge all those concepts with this concept, and we delete all those concepts. Okay, and then we go to the second concept. Again, do this algorithm iteratively, because the knowledge has been discovered here, and this can again merge with other concepts which in the later stage. So that's what we do. Does that answer your question?
Like in this slide, you mentioned that you start with the subject category, right? You
Mhm.
merge all the concepts on the subject, right? Does it matter from where you start? I mean, if you start merging from verb section, does it change the?
No, it doesn't change that thing. The only thing that changes here is, no, I'm merging this full concept with other concept. It's not like I'm merging this with this
Can you proceed to the
separately.
next slide you show
Mhm.
not this one, where there was a chart when you were merging them. Now over here.
Yeah,
So,
that all happens at once.
Okay.
Merging happens at once. But your question, I get some more things to talk about. So when I'm merging these two concepts here, how I'm pruning it is, so I have a concept here and a concept here. I take intersection of these two concepts instead of union, and I start with the intersection because I have to prune it. So I start with the intersection and I start putting things which are relevant. So I start with verbs first, because verbs I feel is more important in our data set. So I start with verbs, I expand verbs as much as possible using the similarity measure that I have, expand it, then go back to subject and object, expand it as much as possible.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, then I'll ask the audience to step out. Nitesh, you stay.